so many times I have these great conversations, but it doesn't involve you. And so I decided to record them because it makes sense. And maybe, just maybe, it can help you on your journey as you're trying to figure out what the fuck it is you're supposed to be doing and how you can do life a little bit better so it doesn't feel like what it's feeling. You know what I mean? So I'm of the understanding that I create my own reality. I create my own reality. Nothing really happens unless I have given my consent in one way, shape, or form at one time or another. Whether it's prior to this incarnation, this lifetime that I'm currently living, or whether it's a consent that has happened in this time. Nothing happens without my permission. I don't know about you. I'm just speaking about me. And so, with that understanding and that level of awareness, as I am examining what's happening externally out in the world, I am questioning what it is I'm really seeing. And my attention is drawn to this colonizing spirit or this colonizing energy. Now, currently, the colonizing energy or spirit wears a mask of the white face. We say, it looks like white people are just been the colonizers. You know what I mean? And I understand why we would really just say that, because we're looking at what it looks like. So this conversation isn't about what it looks like. This conversation is about what it really is. The colonizing spirit, the colonizing energy is a mask of something else. It is a mask of something else. And how I have broken that down to is asking myself, well, what does its behavior resemble? To me, it resembles a bully. A bully. And then my mind goes to my experiences of bullies. And I've had several encounters with bullies in my lifetime as a child and as an adult. In my experiences with bullies as a child, when the times that they presented themselves, I wasn't bothering them. I was minding my own business. I wasn't even thinking about them at all. But they were aware of me. There was something about me that rubbed them the wrong way. Even though I was not talking to them, I did not speak to them, I was just simply being myself. As a child experiencing the foster care system, there were times where people had a problem with me. I was going through my own shit. Life was lifing, and I was just trying to be okay with what life was presenting me. Whatever my journey was, I was just trying to be okay. I didn't really speak to people. I just really stayed to myself. But there was something about me that the bullies just felt like, you know, they had to fuck with me. So, once upon a time, while in the foster care system, it was the end of the day, end of the school day. I was happy that school was over and that I could just go home and just keep doing my Shannon shit. And while on the way, I'm in Baltimore City. I'm on the east side on Moravia Road between, I forget what street that is, and Sinclair Lane. I lived on Truesdale, and so that's where I was heading. But the street that I was coming from was the street, if for my Baltimoreans for real, where there's the McDonald's and then there's like 95. That cross street, because I was coming from Moravia Park Primary School. Remember that. I'm walking up the hill of Moravia on Moravia Road by myself, minding my business. On the left, well, on the right was, I forget what school that was. I feel like it starts with an M, but I'm not sure. It was like a series of schools. But maybe one school originally, but now it's a series of schools. And on the left was these buildings with steps running alongside it. They were businesses. And I remember being at the bottom of these steps, and this girl comes out of nowhere. Now, there was a group of girls behind me that I noticed, but I didn't really pay them any attention. I just was aware that they were behind me. But then this girl from that group comes, and somehow there's a conversation of whether or not who could beat the other person to the top of the stairs. And I remember saying that I know I can beat you to the top. And then we went, and I did. Little did I know I was being sized up. I was being sized up. I was a kid in my mind, as I should have been, just trying to be okay in my own world. And here I am with this scout being sent up to size me up to see what I can do. Why? Why? Because I was, why? I don't understand. Because I was light-skinned? Because I was light-skinned, for real? Because that's the thing, light-skin versus dark-skin. That was the thing. Was it because I was light-skinned, or was it because they thought I was prettier than them? Which, at the time, I didn't think I was pretty at all. I thought I was ugly, to be 100% honest. Like, I didn't, I found out all this shit later. Through my foster care sister. Because somebody in that group told her. And she told me. It was fucking weird. Here am I going through my own shit, trying to be okay, and someone who has no clue of what I'm going through, or doesn't even fucking care, has a problem with me. You know what I mean? Bullies. Then there was another time where now I'm with my mom. And at the time, my mom, before, my parents got married, she was dating a white man, Mr. Carson. Now, I love Mr. Carson because Mr. Carson did shit that I like to do. He took my brother and I outside, and we were at the parks. We learned about sparklers and shit. We were outside in nature. Like, He had a German Shepherd. I remember he had like a Ford Escort hatchback, red. And he would just spend time with us. I loved Mr. Carson. I loved him so much because he actually spent time with me. Like, we went to different parks. I remember seeing a snake cross our paths while we were on this trail. We went to another national park and I saw my first box turtle and you know, holding on for dear life in these rushing waters until it disappeared. Like, he did the shit that I like to do, and he listened to music and introduced me to music that I like to listen to. 105.7 WQSR. I love that. I love that. Okay? So Mr. Carson was the shit to me. And at the time, I didn't have a father figure. I wasn't really looking for one, but because I was happy to be reunited with my mother. And so, you know, here's this man. I didn't care that he was white. I noticed that he was white, but I did not care. This was a human being that was spending time with me. And occasionally, Mr. Carson would drop me off to school, or he would be picking me up, right? Now, that I know I went through a lot. That's an introduction. But the point of it was that there were people watching him drop me off. And there were these two set of twins who they were watching me. And what I noticed about them is that we had the same kind of coat. The twins had the coat and I had the coat. It was black. The base was black. It was pink. There was this kind of teal kind of color, turquoise maybe, and then this panda pattern. And I remember one of them saying to me, like, they were trying to make fun of me, which was weird because I didn't engage in, I wasn't friends with them. I didn't talk to them. You know what I mean? And I remember one of them saying, "That's why your father white." And I didn't respond to anything like that. I just tried to think of how really that was an insult, if it was an insult or not. And it really wasn't. I was just like, oh, so you thought I had a father. You know what I mean? It's like when people got a problem with you, they be mad about dumb shit because y'all got the same thing. Like, they had a problem with me. I think it was because of the coat. That was fucking dumb. It was fucking dumb to me. There were other times, like when another time in foster care, where this heavy set dude would just fuck with me. Like, why? I was just being quiet. And then as I grew older, I realized that bullies, they got their own problems. You know, there's insecurities there. There's insecurities there. They have a problem with themselves, and so they project it onto other people. It doesn't mean necessarily that you actually did something to them. It means that they feel insecure in some way. Their insecurities are being shown, and they don't know how to deal with it other than to attack the thing that they feel is showing them their insecurities. The colonizing spirit is a bully. It's a bully that is insecure. Because even though it's presenting itself as better than or greater than, or this monstrous energy with this appetite of just taking other culture shit, it's really insecure. It's a whole big ass imbalance. And it's insecure because in reality, it's unhappy and feels less than. The colonizing spirit envies us because no matter what it looks like or no matter what it feels like to us, we out here making a way out of no motherfucking way. And it's envious of us because it's trying to figure out how in the fuck are we able to keep creating and manifesting the best and keep moving forward after all and everything that it is constantly trying to do. No matter how it's presenting itself, we are still able to create something bright, something brilliant, something amazing, no matter how much it tries to take away from us. We are still in control. It's envious of us. The colonizing spirit is a mask. It wears the mask of the white face, but in all reality, it is a big ass imbalance because it itself perceives itself as less than us. And it believes that in order for it to be better than us, it has to keep taking and taking and taking and taking and taking. But it's trying to take the physical things and it tries to get us to surrender our energy to it. But it has an insatiable appetite that is never really satisfied. That's why it's been going for centuries. It's just been doing the same shit, playing the same game. The name of the game is division, because that is all that it knows. The name of the game is separation, because that is all it knows. War is what happens when the self does not recognize itself. Colonization is what happens when it believes that it is less than and puffs its chest out so it can be perceived as greater than the self. When all is self, everything comes from one source. We are all a part of one whole. There is nothing that is greater than or less than the self. Everything has a part to play, yes. But there's an understanding that needs to be had. When we look at the animal kingdom, the animals aren't lower than us. When the scripture says that it says that we were made higher than the animals, it doesn't mean that we're better than them. Look at the animal kingdom. All the animals and all the plants and all the trees, they are programmed to do what the fuck they do. A tree is going to be a tree. A duck is going to be a duck. A squirrel is going to be a squirrel, because that's what it knows that it is and knows what it's supposed to do. They're going to do what the fuck it is they're supposed to do. We've been created higher than them, which means that we have a responsibility, because our level of awareness, we have more responsibility. For example, we are more than the programming. We can choose what programming. They can't choose the programming. You know what I mean? They can't choose their programming. We can. We choose what the fuck we want to do every single day. A duck, a squirrel, a bird, a tree, they can't. But we can. And that is why we've been given this responsibility to care for them. Because we can choose that. They can't. It doesn't make us higher than them or lower, or them lower than us. It just means we have a responsibility. When we look out into the world, there's an understanding that we have a responsibility. We're not here to blame anybody for anything. We are just here to question why it is as it is and what can we do about it. We are here on our own individual journeys. An infinite amount of parts to one whole. We are all different. We are all unique. We're not the same, but we are all connected. We don't have to believe the same thing, but in what we believe, it's supposed to bring out the best in us. It's supposed to bring out the best in us. There's an understanding that we are in a relationship with the Most High, or we in a relationship with our divine selves. So what somebody else believes isn't dependent. Our relationship isn't dependent on what somebody else believes or what they got going on in their relationships with the Most High or with themselves. Because we are responsible for what we do in this lifetime. So there's no one to blame. We're not blaming our parents. We're not blaming the government. We're not blaming these fake powers. We're not blaming them. We are here to take responsibility for our own lives and what we got going on, because we have the power to do so. If we want to believe that we are less than because the world outside of us looks so much greater, then that's the responsibility. That's what we're taking on. That's what we're choosing to believe, but it doesn't mean that it's true. Maybe it's true for a season. But even that season changes. You feel me? That season changes. The seasons change. We go from fall to winter, from winter to spring, from spring to summer, and back again. Seasons change. Our seasons change. It is time for us to take responsibility for the realities that we are creating. It's not time to blame anything on anybody. It's time for us to take accountability for the power that we actually have. We are not some weak-ass people. We're not. It is time to let go of that programming that is nothing that we can do, and that the people out there, the rich, and this new world order and or whatever else is so much greater than us, when in actuality they are in and have always been in an imbalanced state. They are insecure and they envy who we are. They envy who we are. They want us. They want to be us so fucking bad. But they're not willing to let go of this fake power that they have. They looking for happiness and they can't really find it. That's why their appetite is insatiable. They're looking for it. They see us happy and they want to take that happiness, but it never really makes them happy. You feel me? It never really makes them happy. So they just going to keep doing what it is they're doing. But it's up to us to reclaim our energy collectively and stop fucking paying them attention and focus on what it is that we came here to do. Do the things that we need to do to make us whole. Reclaim our energy back from them. That is our responsibility. I'm glad I recorded this. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Take from this what resonates with you. Sit with the Most High, or sit with yourself and ask, what parts of this message is meant for me? And the parts that aren't, go ahead and disregard it. Go ahead and disregard it. You don't gotta be mad. You don't have to feel some type of way. But even if you're triggered, ask, why am I triggered by this? And just sit and wait for the higher self. Wait for God. Wait for a response. We are created so much more than what we've been programmed to believe. But understand that that programming that we've accepted, we don't have to keep doing it. We're not the trees. Though in another lifetime we might have been a tree. We're not the animals. Even though in another lifetime we could have been animals. In this lifetime, this is us. We've been created higher than that. We have a deeper responsibility. What does Stanley say? With great power comes great responsibility, which also means that there's accountability. And we're not no punk bitches out here for real. We're not weak for real. Like, come on. War is what happens when the self thinks itself higher or lower than the self. God is so much greater than this. And collectively, we are all God. And we are greater than this. We don't have to keep sinking so low because we feel so weak and helpless. We're not. We're not. I love you. Let this marinate in your spirit. Have a good day.